Thanks for joining me for another week. I've got good news and bad news. Good news is we've got a lot to cover. Bad news is we've got a lot to cover. Let's get going. We begin here at SeaWorld, where I wanted to point out that they've now got this sign up about coolers. You're allowed to have coolers that are 14 by 14 inches, and you're allowed to have snack items. Universal doesn't let you bring anything in, really, and Disney lets you bring in whatever you feel like. We say goodbye to Flynn Rider this week. He was seen with Rapunzel at the meet and greet. Starting now, it will be just Rapunzel alone. Thought I would take this photo from the last day. And then just a sort of throwaway photo about the promotion this year in 2011, which I refer to as the anti-amnesia promotion. Let the amnesia stop. Drop by Captain EO, where they have this lovely carpeting and 80s design, and of course the in-theater effects. Captain EO remains good as always, and I use it here as an example of how things are not always breaking around the resorts. And unfortunately, at the bigger rides at the Magic Kingdom, things have been breaking lately. So I thought it was nice to give us a counterbalance every so often. Here we have a somewhat new sign outside of the character greeting spot in Future World. This is from Buzz Lightyear, the queue. All of this was purple somewhat recently. They had to repaint and put the props back in due reportedly to some damage from grad night. This is the floor of that same queue area, and what am I taking a picture of? The absence of trash. So I think it's important to call things out when they look good, and here things look good. The giant spinning ball on water has made its return to Tomorrowland. This area was under construction and now returns looking essentially the same. It's missing the plaque that had been there before identifying features of Tomorrowland. This is the Tomorrowland Speedway, backed up at the moment so they can bring more cars on, and the Dumbo structure in the background getting quite large. And just around the corner from there, the tea party is to my left as I take this photo, we have a new meet and greet location for Winnie the Pooh with this backdrop. The Friar's Nook is a snack stand in Fantasyland, and they've had these freshly made potato chips for some time. It's the teriyaki chicken nuggets that is new to me and haven't tried them yet. Anyone out there try it yet? Pinocchio Village Haus with some roof work going on. This area does look good in general, so I'm glad they're continuing to move things along in the rehab department. If you're not making out to our Saturday meets at 2, look what you're missing. A fistful of FastPasses. And here we are in the Columbia Harbor House, where there is a Matterhorn hidden in the corner. Country Bear Jamboree, also looking and sounding good. One of the Rufuses has had, one of the Henry Bears has had problems somewhat recently with sound. That too has been fixed. Over on Tom Sawyer Island, this is a close-up of an area near Aunt Polly's. It looks like some kind of growth in there because they're not taking care of the wood. And then Splash Mountain, as you've heard and seen, is looking much better these days. Although when you leave Splash Mountain, hopefully you don't see what I saw here. You're not supposed to bring ladders on stage. It's one of those things that just isn't done at Disney to maintain a certain illusion. Speaking of illusion, Big Thunder, it's fixed in many ways. I thought I would show this photo to illustrate a concept discussed in the article, that you have to have 2 wheels, or you should have had 2 wheels here at the bottom. They removed the second show wheel because it didn't do anything, and now the train looks slightly out of balance, I think. The Diamond Horseshoe was open this past weekend for 4th of July. And as you can see, they had things like roasted turkey breast, carved beef, smoked ham, and you realize, that's the exact same menu as they have at the Liberty Tree Tavern right next door. And indeed, it's the same price, $36. So it's just an expansion of the seating for Tavern, which is it's not a bad thing necessarily. They often don't have enough capacity. So if people are going to pay the price, then they might as well let them in the door. And so here's what it looks like when you come in, and then they have the service set up from there, and the tables are just kind of all together. Back in Tomorrowland, can you name what's missing here? It's the robot, the newspaper carrying robot. I don't have any word on whether this guy is coming back. For 4th of July weekend, they had some bunting set up around Main Street and on the trains. I thought I would drop in and show a few of the things available in the firehouse. The fire station on Main Street is about to go away, and yet they still have some themed merchandise like these t-shirts, which have apparently been very popular with first responders around the country. and this one's in more of a polo shirt. This one also Magic Kingdom Fire Department. What really caught my eye here, though, was the nature of the stand. I mean, have a look at this. That's coiled up fire hose. When you look at the top part, more fire hose. I've never noticed that before. So these little details can still get you years later. Ticket sellers on 192. Don't use any of these guys. I think the sheriff's car is a little coincidental. But most of these ticket resellers are shady to begin with. Switching over to Animal Kingdom, more anti-amnesia, or Let the Memories Begin, I should say, where I want to call your attention to the Expedition Everest FastPass. See, it was 2:05 when we got this FastPass, and 4:10 is the return time. Normally you would expect 4:10 as the next time you can get a FastPass, 2 hours later. But look here, it says another FastPass will be available after 3:05, which means that it's only 1 hour since we got that FastPass. They'll let you get another one. Maybe that was something they did just because it was a really busy weekend. So the Abdim Stork, where's this? Well, let's have a look. It's over here next to Restaurantosaurus. They've always had, I believe, this turtle sign or tortoise sign here, and this cutout has always been here, but the stork sign was brand new, unless I'm imagining that. That happens to me from time to time. I know this one is brand new, DJ Dino-Mite. Rather large DJ playing tunes like Kesha and Britney Spears in Dinorama, and it's rather loud. Right next door, Primeval World, still behind these construction doors. And then some photos of the t-shirts available at Expedition Everest. There are many different types, in fact so many different types, this one's not so politically correct, that I was moved to start taking pictures of all of them. Because they're really gone in a lot of different directions, and sometimes they're more snarky teenager looking like that. Sometimes they're closer to the appearance of the actual Yeti that we see on the ride, and sometimes they're just kind of more mystical like that. This one made no sense at all. It's the $12 Yeti kitten, I guess, stuffed animal, up in that same corner. Switching gears here, this is the Yak and Yeti Cafes, the outdoor seating. This is a brand new structure, and it's larger than you would think, providing some shade for about half of the outdoor venue. And it's very welcome, although it's a little industrial looking. They have some fans going on in the background as well. The river over by Camp Mickey is different from the river elsewhere. So the Discovery River elsewhere is clear. Here it's kind of hard to see. Maybe we'll see it better on the next slide. It's just covered with this moss stuff, the duckweed it's called. And the wind blows it to this corner of the park. It doesn't look so great, but at least they're not fighting the birds in that corner that they had been previously. The sign for Camp Mickey has now been changed to Festival of the Lion King, which I guess answers the guest questions about when the next show is, although the theme's a little bit off. I mean, what would this bear eating a canoe have to do with the Lion King in Africa? It made sense a little bit more when it was when it was Camp Mickey, because that's a camp concept. An A-frame sign at the Dino Institute has seen better days, kind of cracking and peeling over here as well as peeling down at the bottom. But I guess it's good that they have something there in place just to let people know what's up ahead. Dinosaur t-shirts, there's another one with the head missing, that will be your head, and some more with the Carnotaurus. Switching finally to the 4th of July weekend, these are the fireworks setups outside of the Poly, where they had a little tent setting up for the 2,000 or so people who were here. And the fireworks, as always, were spectacular for 4th of July. They brought the barges out to play music and to provide a flag for the finale, and here you see the fireworks in the round. This is a great place to watch, and you don't have to fight nearly the crowds if you go to the Poly Beach. That brings us to the exit and the end of this week's update. Thank you as always for your patronage and for watching, and we'll catch you next time.